So Jakob, tell us about the acquisition that's happening with checkyeti. Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, sure. Well, it is truly exciting for us. As we have just communicated, checkyeti has acquired Manawa, and Manawa will be becoming or is now part of the checkyeti group. For us, this is really a strategic opportunity that came up, and we see, in our space, which we define as the outdoor nature activity market focused in Europe, Manawa and checkyeti were really the two leading companies in that niche. And, although we were operating in the same space, there was actually quite some exchange over the years. And at some point, it became clear that there's an opportunity, and we went forward. And now we're really excited that this has happened.
And so what does that mean for checkyeti going forward?
Well, overall, what we particularly liked about Manawa is not only that they've built really for a long time trustworthy relationships with providers, have built a very solid platform marketplace, but at the same time, they also managed to build strength where, we haven't put a lot of focus on, whether it was geographies or sometimes even verticals. So we see the two companies to be really highly compatible, and combining strength of both companies will put the whole group forward. And that's what we're really focusing on. So really complementary supply, geographic reach, and scale at the end of the day. Yeah.
And you're focused specifically on outdoor experiences, outdoor activities in Europe,
Exactly.
Is that right? So
Exactly.
is there a reason why is now the time? Are you seeing growth in that sector? What's happening in that sector right now in Europe?
Yeah, overall, as you know best, experience is the best part of travel. And as you keep saying, and we agree with that. So also we have seen in the business over the past decade or so, a lot of growth in the industry. But at the same time, in recent times, obviously, there's more and more also consolidation pressure. With AI being all around us, there's a lot of, let's say, necessity to become more efficient, but at the same time to improve your customer experience, both to the end consumer and to our providers, who are in the way also our customers. And so therefore, for us, it's a situation where we see that it's the right way to join forces when 1 and 1 equals 3, like we feel it is the case here, where we can now together invest into technology, improving customer service and experience for everyone.
How's that supplier partnership that you have with operators that list on your platform? How's that going to change, particularly for the operators that are with Manawa?
For the time being, both companies continue to operate as they did before. None of the suppliers need to fear that, anything might disappear immediately, whatever. So that's for sure. As I said earlier, Manawa and checkyeti have both put a high focus on really maintaining and building trustworthy relationships over the years. One of the key elements for us, we are not the marketplace that does everything. As you said, we're focused on nature and outdoor experiences. Therefore, we've always put great care into really selecting those providers that really do the best job in their verticals. Of course, there's still a few that we would like to get. That's part of the goal for the coming years. But for coming back to your question, for the providers, nothing will change for now. We'll continue to work with all of them. Of course, there's also some instances where a provider has worked with both. But as said before, there's also a high complementary side of the transaction as well.
So are there like specific pain points that an operator might have if they're listing on a larger OTA that you've solved for specifically for the outdoor experiences sector?
Well, I don't want to talk about other OTAs so much, but what I can say is that it is a particular niche, and checkyeti has a stronghold also in the winter market. So we are by far the leading player when it comes to any kind of ski-related activities in Europe. And, look at that as an example. It's a very particular set of providers with special needs. Like it's not booking a ticket for a bus tour in a city, which is a very valuable product. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, when you book a ski course, there's so many questions, so many different questions, about equipment, etc. So we also, we don't look at the business also not only on a horizontal basis, but also on a vertical basis. So, for example, we would offer also ski equipment to the consumer. So we look at it more holistically, and at the same time, that already shows again our approach of, really being a specialist in our field.
Okay, yeah. Particularly with the ski tours, I can imagine there's a lot of like pieces that
Yeah.
you have to figure out how to fit into the flow. You mentioned specialization. And so as a bit of a more niche OTA or marketplace, how do you see that working in the future? Where is this landscape headed? Are we going to see more consolidation? Are we going to see more specialization, or a little bit of both?
Well, to be frank, I think consolidation is inevitable in a fragmented market where, scale increasingly matters. And also everyone's talking about data and data connection, etc. That's also where it just makes sense to join forces in order to be more relevant in the market. So therefore, yes, we believe there will be more consolidation in the future. Yeah.
Speaking of data, and you mentioned AI earlier, how is that changing things for you for search? Is that disrupting your model? Are you working with AI? Are you worried about AI? Where are you guys at with that?
Well, I think all of it, right? There's two sides that are particularly relevant for us, and one side is the discovery side, and one side is the distribution side, right? So for sure, and we can see that when we book our trips ourselves, the way travelers discover activities that has changed. It has gone from a very standard traditional way to a really conversational way that most people are engaging with. And at the same time, distribution is changing. But where we see also checkyeti and now the checkyeti group being positioned very well is to be that horizontal lever where we can be really also the place where all of those providers, thousands of providers, talking about ski schools, etc., they don't have that data set themselves to really connect to all, big softwares, etc. But we are able to connect to them over the years, provide the data, and then also be found and recommended on LLMs. And that's, of course, something that we are working on very hard to improve. And it will for sure be a main priority for the coming years.
So, if people are using AI more to search, are they going to be finding experiences on checkyeti?
Well, we hope so. Yeah, we hope so. As I said before, I think the infrastructure layer is something that we'd like to be positioned for in our space, and that's why also we made this move together with the Manawa team to really become a stronger player here and really fulfill our ambition and our vision to become really the world's leading outdoor nature activity player in the experience sector. That means also that we will continue to add more supply, obviously curated supply. So really looking for the highest quality suppliers and providers in our space. But there's still many out there that we'd like to have on our platform. That's what we're going to try to do.
So, what are the biggest opportunities right now in the outdoor activities and experiences space? And, for example, if I want to start or if I want to add a new product tomorrow and upload it to checkyeti, what should I do? Are you seeing any like emerging trends or things that people are really into booking right now?
Yeah, yeah. There's obviously in terms of numbers, there's still a lot of people just who like to do the traditional boat tour, boat rental kind of thing. The great thing about checkyeti is that we have everything from feeling active, as we call it, to being very active. Something that has excited myself as well is why don't you go on a canyoning trip or canyoning tour, which is something really exciting and changes maybe how you view a forest in the future because there's this opportunity there. So there's different, let's say, action-oriented activities that we see a strong growth with. But overall, and that's something I want to point out very clearly, what we really focus on is also having a very entrenched supply. So for us, what we are particularly looking for, and that's what is the status now for checkyeti and also for Manawa, is to continue to increase, let's say, our moat by adding more and more supply that is not to be found everywhere, but is exciting. And that's where we consider ourselves also to be strong, to find these kind of providers and then to bring them customers that they wouldn't have found themselves otherwise. So feel free, if that's going out to the providers in Europe and the world, feel free to contact us if you feel like you have something exciting you'd like to bring to more customers.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being here and sharing your news.
Thank you for inviting me.